All right. So this is gonna be quiet again because it is 1:18. I don't know the time. So I spent the last couple videos, and actually a little more than that, because my Border Down video I did talk about when I was talking about Border Down bullet patterns and formations. It kind of feeds into this because I was doing that when I was that I did that for I didn't do that for the wiki, but I did that because I was making wiki content, or wiki content. I was making stuff for the wiki page, showing off comparison of rank, and I thought, why not do? Because there's a lot of that game doesn't have that much information available. You got to watch replays from Japanese people. So I thought, why not give some extra information that isn't really talked about that often. I mean, it's rank's not big there, but it's important enough in routing that I do it. Anyway, that's not the point. But in that video, I talked about these concepts of thinking about what is the GRev style pattern. Because for me, I don't play. I've said it 10,000 times. I don't. It's not that I hate Danmaku. I played Touhou. I'm not really a fan of Touhou. I don't really care for it that much. I'm of the older generation for playing games in the 16-bit style. So a lot of my interests kind of get on horizontal games, Thunder Force, Lords of Thunder, stuff like that. And also I was also a fan of railgun games, or on rails games. So Sin and Punishment, Wild Gun, stuff like that. And I never got into Cave. I think the closest I would have ever gotten to that, I played like Mushi. I like 1.5 actually. I haven't gotten the 1cc on 1.5 because I'll play an original too. I don't play any higher because I like that faster Toaplan, Psycho, Rising, super fast bullet style. I'm not into slower bullets. But a lot of the games I play are horizontal. I like the horizontal style, and it feeds into how I think about these games. And the problem is, when you deal with horizontal games, you fall into, are we doing the cute 'em up style? Are we doing the Konami style essentially? Cotton kind of has a bit of a Gradius thing with her favorites are like the freeze shot, or the options are like the freeze shot, sort of, except you can't freeze them. Well, I guess they do freeze if they don't move. There's the R-Type style, there's the cute 'em up style. There's the Taito style, and they're all similar. Border Down kind of, because GRev is a game made to call back to Metal Black. GRev has that Taito style embedded within it, and I think because they're Taito devs, if you look at their games, I already compared. I talk about Under Defeat and all that. If you look at their games, there's basically 3 types of shot. So the basic shot, there's straight, and then aimed, right? Then we have that. Then we have there's a 3-way shot, and then there is what I call this the noise shot, which is stuff. Designs are often maybe radial, right? So they'll come out of designs are often radial, right? So you'll have a point and they'll go out like this, right? So all of these styles of shots, these are very common in GRev games. I haven't played that much. I played 3 Stages of Strania. The game I've been playing the most right now is I've been playing Gingo Force. So I've only been playing Gingo Force, and so I got Strania. I'm really excited for the new Under Defeat port. The PS, I was playing on the PS emulator, and there were weird glitches when I bombed, and it really pissed me off. I got randomly killed in the stage 1 boss because there's a bomb glitch that fucked me up. Whatever. I'm really happy that it's getting re-released Steam soon, and I will be grabbing that. And I will try to get Underfeet 1cc. I really might, because I can play that game for score, I think, pretty easily. I have Strania. I'm kind of, I'll play casually because the scoring system for that game like drives my brain crazy. Because you could keep switching weapons. But I like the game. I love the game. Only played 3 stages. Under Defeat, I've gotten a little further, but I haven't really dedicated that much time to it. So soon, but like, so that's that style. It's very Taito. It's very classic. It has a certain feel to it. Now, when we talk about horizontal games, this is big. So when you talk about like formation styling and pattern styling, it depends on the style of game. So the Thunder Force style often will have some stage stuff, but not often. Thunder Force 4 has some interactions with backgrounds and stuff, but it's not that much. Thunder Force 5 has a couple sections where it'll be like a hallway or something, but nothing crazy. Lords of Thunder has actually some has a lot of very specific things to stages, which is part of how they funnel you in that game. The water stage, when you're out, it has like this whack. The screen speeds up, and there's like multiple objects everywhere, and there's enemies coming from behind, and you know, that's sort of like environmental design in a horizontal game. R-type style games are very claustrophobic. They're about playing around screen space. So you'll have something like this. You'll go up, maybe go like that. It's like Gradius is like that too. ZZX is like that. I mean, ZZX is a R-type clone, so it doesn't matter. But I really like how the space is used. And then the third type of game, Cotton does that too, to an extent. Cotton's kind of like a traditional horizontal game. Harmful Park does it. Harmful Park has a lot of movement like that. And the third type is games that are like Border Down, Metal Black to an extent. Metal Black's weird. Metal Black has like some terrain, but a lot of Metal Black takes place in a void. So like the first stage has terrain, the third stage has terrain. Just the fourth? I don't remember. I haven't played the game in a year. Maybe. But like second stage is like space. But then there's games like so Border Down has like 1 or 2 stages with terrain. Stage 2. Stage 3 is just a ship stage, so there's like some terrain. There's some interior hallway areas, but it's not that much, right? It doesn't really matter that much. It's not as terrain focused as an R-type game or a Gradius game or anything like that. So when you think about your patterns, right? When you think about how you make the game, how you design formations and everything, it has to be due to your space, right? So the way I sort of see myself working with is sort of this no-budget G-Rev style, which is I'm attempting to do what I like from G-Rev games with as like limited resources I have, limited experience as I have. So I take that style, and then I have very limited interaction and environmental interactions. So how do I fix that, right? How do I deal with this? So we have to think about the screen space. I'm trying to think about the screen space now. I might only have like one section here. This might be the only thing I use for terrain, right? Just the simple ground. So, you know, how am I supposed to play around with that with formations? And sort of the idea for me is that if formations are, if I don't have terrain, formations of bullet patterns have to become this sort of noise, this sort of terrain that you work against. And that's where the orb comes in, right? So when you play this game, oh wait, that's my intro. So now we'll get to the real thing. So you have a hitbox. This is your hitbox. It's the jacket. This character is designed this way for a reason. This character isn't just designed because it's an aesthetic. The blue jacket comes off the black and all that stuff very, very brightly, especially against like the background. And then you have the orb. This is your main tool. It appears here and it appears here. This is where the hitboxes are. Bits are here. These will take into thing. And then you have, when you get hit, you have a shield. And now the shield, I might take it out of the black mode to see if that might make it more challenging, maybe more interesting, but I haven't decided on that. So anyway, we'll go back. So we're here. This is our basic thing. If the way this is formatted, the Force Orb, like so say an R-type. Your orb is going to be in the center. It's gonna. I mean, your hitbox is gonna be the center of your ship, and your orb's in front of you. So you can just position yourself up. It'll be here, down. It'll be here. It'll always protect you. But in this situation, this is an uneven situation. We have here and here. So when we have aim shots, and I'll show you, they come in. Notice the bullet. We'll go back. Let's look at this bullet trajectory. I'm moving, so I'm kind of annoying. So each bullet wants to fly to here. So each one, these wanted to go here, these wanted to go here, right? They want to go to this body, right? They want to move to this section of the screen. So when you watch them move, oh, these are even better shots. So you see when it blows up, bam, 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 right? So the orb, when you move to the orb in this front position, goes up a bit, right? It goes up a tiny bit. Go down. Right, we go down, it goes down. Go up, goes up. So you have this sort of disconnect between the position of the orb and the position of the hitbox. And so when I'm thinking about designing, I have three types, right? We have this first type, which is the suicide type. And I got this from playing, I got this concept from playing Lords of Thunder on Super Hard. Because in that game, the way the health system works, there's like often no drawback from point blanking, right? You can point blank, kill everything, you sweep up, you basically finish off everything. But when you reroute the game for Super Hard, if you go in for like the close-up kill, you have to immediately move because that suicide bolt's gonna spawn and just hit you, right? So you have to think about your positioning a lot more when you route. You have to be moving a lot more. It makes the game really interesting. And so I kind of wanted the basic enemy in this game because I knew the Force Orb was going to be the main source for bullets, and we'll get to those units next. But I wanted the main enemy, the main popcorn, to be this Super Hard kind of Lords of Thunder kind of thing because it creates a lot of movement and tension. So in a normal game, with how your hitbox would be in the center, right? You know, this wouldn't function, right? You'd be hit, you'd be here, and if they fired bullets or anything, you can block all the bullets with your orb. The orb will cover the whole thing. So we can't have that, right? We have this unique position where this hitbox is here, and these enemies, when they die, they fire off bullets that target this, ignoring this. And so how you move and how you reposition in the stage suddenly starts to really matter, right? You can move, you can, like in a Danmaku, you can, if you, what's the saying? If you made a mistake 3 seconds in the past, it's gonna bite you in the ass. So when you think about routing, you wanna, every time you route, if you put yourself into a bad situation, you're done. That's it, right? And I kind of want that here. So you have to think. You have to think about your positioning in the context of this, and there'll be more. This is just isolated, right? So there'd be more enemies in this situation than just these, maybe, right? So that's the basic type, and then here's the second type. So this makes up for the noise. So we have, just like in G-Rev games, especially in Under Defeat. Under Defeat has this. This appears in other G-Rev games. That appears. Stage 2 boss of Border Down does this, where it fires a ball, and that ball explodes into a radial bullet pattern, and this happens in Under Defeat a lot. One of Under Defeat's main big bullet patterns is a cannon will fire a shot that explodes into a radio point, and I like that design a lot. I think it creates really interesting points of noise for the screen that, in combination with other parts, really messes with your head, and it makes you have to think about the routing. So you look at this, right? I have to think about my routing, and then these enemies. This is an example of rank. These guys, they only self-destruct when your rank is about, let's say, I'm pretty sure it's 1.5. I said it's 1.5, so it's about here. This is your 1.5 rank. They will explode. Otherwise, you have to you fire on them, and you'll make them explode. Right. So, and this also sort of shows some of my thoughts about design too when it comes to this problem of the screen. So we have this problem of, again, we come to this force orb. We come to this issue of, we have this orb, and it can go here, and because we have a horizontal game. Horizontal games do this, they do that, they do this, they do this. You know, there's no section of the screen is off. Is like off the table here. Everything is on the menu. So when we make these games, we have to think. When we think about formations, we think about, we don't want just to have the person hogging in the back or hogging in the front. We want them to. They need to play around the space. And when these guys fly in, you can see this. So they first, intuitively, the way you're gonna go down and then down, right? So these guys on this side, they came the first wave came like this. First wave came on the right. So you have your orb here for firing. This wave comes here, so you switch your orb to here, to the back. And then these guys fly in, they're in the back. So, and then these guys fly in there on the right. So your routing is dictated by the patterns. It's no different. It's no different conceptually than in a vertical game. Your routing is some guys on the left. Some guys on the right, some guys on the left, some guys on the right, some guys on the left. And then maybe some guy comes in here, and here you're zigzagging across the screen. You have to keep repositioning yourself in relationship to what's going on. I mean, that's just the core tenet of the genre. So these guys, so you see right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now we have the second type. So this is where orbs come in. So I'm going to show you how this works. So the orb comes in. It does a three-way shot. A standard G-Rev style shot. The second form is a little slower, different. How this works, and how these enemies work, is that in this game, the mechanical concept is the orb is the thing that does all the work. So if an enemy, the suicide ones are basically just like orbs that explode. So in this situation, this thing acts the same way as this does. The only difference is that it doesn't fire at will. It fires when it eats 20 bullets. 20 bullets is where it shoots the laser. So if we go back a sec, go back here to when it fires, right? It comes in, you fire. Now the higher power you are, the more bullets you fire, so the faster you'll get it. So right now we're at 492. We're almost max. I put it here for that reason. If you were at 50, about here, you would fire 2 bullets per shot. So it would take much longer to reach the point to get this laser. And then when you get the laser, bam, goes out. And if you were lucky, you would have killed this thing. I did it too late. But it's fine because we want to do this. I want to show what happens now. So you're firing. You want to hit this. You don't want to kill him too fast because you want the points from the laser. Now, if you're firing, you don't absorb bullets. Uh-oh. Bam. So you're kind of... So the concept, if I'm lacking concepts in patterns, or if I'm lacking terrain, or if I'm lacking busyness because it's a horizontal game, so we can't be as busy. How do we make it complex? How do we make it work with the mechanics? And the decision is, all right, orb pops up, you delay. Now, while you're delaying your shot for this orb, you're like, oh, I need that score. Oh, what do I do? And it's like, there's gonna be enemies all over the screen firing at you at the same time. So you have to delay your shot. And if you're delaying your shot, you're delaying your... You can absorb orbs because you're not firing. But you're also delaying your you're also, like, trying to set this up. So you need to get this. Like, you need to hit... it's not that. You want to hit this. If you hit any of this section right here, you're just gonna do damage to the enemy and possibly mess it up. So you're trying to do like a golf shot, into this hole to get that laser. So what happens when you do this? You fire. You gotta slide up, right, so you don't get hit. And then you go down, and then this creates challenge, right? So the core concept becomes this. This is how do I take these mechanics, and I had this absorption mechanic that seems really broken. The R-type absorption mechanic, when not used properly, becomes easy to exploit. If there's the original R-type has so many things going on. There's so many enemies everywhere. There's terrain effects. There's camera movement. All of that puts you in uncertain situations. So the orb is no longer necessarily beneficial. You have to move to make the force orb beneficial. And the same here. The way it functions, the way I design the patterns are to work around this concept. So we have this is my blatant. This is just a border down enemy. They come in, they fire 3 shots. But what I like about this, what I think is interesting about this, the reason why I wanted to use that enemy is because I like how that enemy doesn't shoot bullets at you. What that enemy does is that enemy flies in and it fires a set of bullets that act as a barrier. You can't move with that thing. If you move against that thing, you'll get hit. Right? So you need to play, and then it gives you this orb. It gives you this thing that you can use. But if you're too late, it starts flying, and it goes right at you. And this is I mean, I love this concept of the rotating enemy that comes in and flies at you. Suicide enemies are so fun. They're so interesting. They add an extra layer to everything, because if you mess up your routing, at any point in time, if you mess up your routing, you pay for it, because they come to you and you have to you have to fix yourself. And the moment you fix yourself, you lose the whole wave, right? You lose this whole opportunity to clear this wave effectively because you had to dodge something that was flying at you, right? And so if you put this in a situation where there's multiples of them, or maybe there's another wave or something, or maybe you have to balance moving around the screen, it creates stress, it creates challenge. And you don't need a million bullets on the screen to create a sort of stress, a sort of, oh, if I don't route this correctly, I will die in the next 3 seconds. Or if I don't route this correctly, I will miss my chance to clear this whole wave, right? You don't need bullet canceling or medals or anything popping on the top of the screen to create a sense of risk and reward. All you need to do is, in your mechanics, to create a sort of scoring system and a mechanical system that if you mess up the routing, then you miss the opportunity. It's like a caravan game, right? So in caravan games are all about routing. I mean, I think part of I think my scoring mentality comes from Caravan, because the way you play those games, you route the stage perfectly 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes. I think all my stages are about 2 to 3 minutes. They should be that fast, quick, purely focused on routing. Not so much dodging bullets, but more about where do I need to be on the screen to maximize my potential. And so I'm not interested in dodging per se. I'm interested in, as a player, I need to know this thing exactly. It's a memorizer kind of thing, right? It's a Einhander doesn't have a lot of bullets. Einhander is hard as hell. It's about knowing where to be, and if you don't know where to be, you're dead, or you lose your opportunities or something. I think that's really interesting. And then when you compound it with more mechanics, it's really cool. So anyway, we're here. One more set of enemies, and this is, I showed this one off in the last video, but I didn't elaborate a bit on how it functions within the system, right? So we have the guy that comes in, right? He flies in, right? And here we have another situation, this classic, this classic for me is we have an orb, and we have this area that, if you don't, you have to hit the orb at an angle, and to get the laser, to get the high score, and while you're trying to get that orb, he fires, and this is another type of space denial shot that I really like, is straight. Oh, let me clear this. Straight down, so we're creating more space, but then there's homing, and you want to fire, right? You want to fire into this guy, right? So you want to fire your shot, right? If he comes out, and obviously the rank is lower right now. At 2 rank in black, when it's like capped at max speed, these guys are crazy. They fire so fast, and if you're trying to fire to get that shot, to get that laser, right? You get that laser, and you miss it. I mean, you could get hit by that homing shot, and then these guys will the way. I mean, I don't want to give away my formations, because I mean that's for the release. So I mean, all these are isolated incidents. All of these situations appear in the context of other things also being on the screen. I'm just giving you it's like if my how to play was done, my how to play would be like this. And actually, I might use these for the how to play when I expand it. But anyway, I mean, the idea is to create mechanics, systems of play, and then trying to figure out, okay, how do I make patterns and formations that attempt to exploit this, right? Because when you make a system of mechanic, you have to think about not only well, what is my mechanic? It's also what is the problem? What is the issue with my mechanic? Because if a mechanic mechanic cannot only be good. There also should be drawbacks to a mechanic, right? In a war game, your side may have an advantage in one thing, but it may be lacking in it. But because of that, it might be lacking in another, right? And then that creates the asymmetrical concept. The game should be based on equal. You seem equal, but you're asymmetrical in the concept. In this game, you seem equal. You both use the Force Orb. You both fire the same types of lasers and things, but they have an advantage you do not have. They have cover. They have extra shots and everything, and you have advantages they don't have. You can clear things with your orb. They can't clear bullets. So you have to play between the two and sort of like, okay, who has the advantage here and who has the advantage here? I think that explains it. What makes it a success is whether or not I can fine-tune it and really pull out that essence. And that's the harder part. It's easy to have ideas. It's hard to act on them. So, hopefully that explains more stuff. I think I've been mostly doing, like, optimization stuff. I had a lot of shader stuff I had to deal with. I had a lot of, that were slowing things down. I had some lerp functions that were slowing everything down. So, I fixed a lot of those. The game's running smooth at 60 now for most of the game, so I'm getting close. I can probably put something out within the month. I over-scrutinize everything I do. I really want to make it perfect, so I don't want to, even though it's like 3 stages for thing, I can get it done pretty fast if I rush it out, but I really want to fine-tune everything. It's hard to make it perfect when I'm making a memorizer and I've memorized it. But hopefully, I think the way it's designed, there should be some challenge in it, and you know, hopefully, I just hope it runs. I don't care about the technical stuff, the mechanical stuff that much. I'm more worried about the just pure technical. Can it run on X person's computer or not? So we'll see.